straight into the roof of the net. Nice one. Straight down the middle. So a good performance from both teams here today.
Hi, you're watching Firstpost. I'm Rupha Ramani. Let's get started. Now, it's a packed lineup for you today. The highly anticipated India-England cricket series is kickstarting tomorrow, and we get you all the buzz leading up to it, including a very, very special exclusive interaction to look ahead to the series. The predictions, and more importantly, which are the key battles we need to look forward to. And speaking of key battles, there is a mega battle that is scheduled to take place on the 1st of February between the two biggest superstars in football. But has Cristiano Ronaldo's injury update thrown a spanner in the works? Also on the show, has Glenn Maxwell thrown away the long rope that Cricket Australia continues to be giving him? The recent incident with Maxwell fainting after drinking in a pub has brought his troublesome episodes to light once more. And 40s seems to be the new cool age to be in. At a time when there are enough examples of young prodigies, the older generation seem to be staking their claim to supremacy just as much. Ask Rohan Bopanna, who is set to become the oldest world number one at 43. All of that lined up on the show today. But first, Sports 360. We'll start with the Australian Open. Third-seeded Daniil Medvedev has made it to the semi-finals. He outlasted Hubert Hurkacz of Poland 7-6, 2-6, 6-3, 5-7, 6-4 in one of the toughest quarterfinal encounters. Over in the women's draw, China's Qin Sheng showed great resilience to book her place in the semi-finals as well. She downed Anna Kalinskaya of Russia 6-7, 6-3, 6-1. Her semi-final opponent is Diana Yastremska of Ukraine. In football, let's start with AFCON, or the Africa Cup of Nations tournament updates. Cameroon beat Gambia in a 3-2 nail-biting finish last night. The game was scoreless in the first half. Both teams then scored 2 goals apiece in the second. Christopher Wu scored the winner in the 91st minute to seal the win for Cameroon. They have now reached the final 16 and will face Nigeria on the 28th of this month. Australian tennis ace and former world number one Ash Barty has announced a comeback, but not to tennis or cricket. She will be returning to action on a golf course. Barty said she will play at the Pro-Am tournament at New Zealand Open in Queenstown next month. She's a 3-time Grand Slam champion and left the sport at the peak of her career. Barty retired from competitive tennis as well as cricket, but recently after the Australian Open in 2022. In basketball, Cleveland Cavaliers forward Tristan Thompson has been handed a 25-game suspension by the NBA. This comes after Thompson tested positive for the growth hormone ibutamoren. The drug is used for bodybuilders for muscle mass and enhancement, but is banned by the NBA under its anti-doping policies. Thompson's suspension begins with immediate effect as the Cleveland Cavaliers play the Milwaukee Bucks. The Indian cricket team gave England a warm welcome, this ahead of the start of the first test match in India's city of Hyderabad on the 25th of this month, starting tomorrow. And they were invited to an awards night last night organised by BCCI, the Board for Control of Cricket in India. Now, it was to celebrate some of the best performances by Indian cricketers from the years that was. The last 4 years, in fact, is what they were giving out awards for. It was almost like giving England a lowdown on just the pedigree that they will be up against in the weeks to come, showing them the kind of run makers and wicket takers they will be up against in this series. England coach Brendan McCullum was present along with some of the other members of the coaching staff and management of the England cricket team. The icing on the cake, though, was Ashwin's response on receiving his award. He was being awarded for Best International Cricketer of the Year, the Polly Umrigar Award. It's the highest honour that BCCI gives to a current cricketer. It is for exemplary achievement in the sport. And when asked about what he's most excited about right now, this is what Ashwin said.
Bazball, for starters. The kind of cricket they've been playing is amazing. And with this wonderful brand of cricket that they're playing and the way they've come here and that fearless approach, I think I'm standing here without knowing what to expect. So that's the beauty of Test cricket. And I look forward to playing this series.
And right after he said that, the camera, of course, cut to Brendan McCullum, who gave a wry smile. He probably has had enough of Bazball talk and can't wait to get the action going. I'm sure all the chatter that has built up to the series has been enough to get the players on both sides to just get to it now. But both camps have their fair share of last-minute adversaries that they will have to deal with. Let's look at India first. Rinku Singh was called up to join the India A squad. That was an indication enough that Indian team management will be calling up someone from that squad to replace Virat Kohli for the first 2 tests. And that player is Rajat Patidar. We did speak about him leading the list of options for the BCCI to zero in on, and he's joined the squad. Apparently, he was a unanimous choice of the management and the selectors. The pressure in the series is definitely on someone like Shreyas Iyer. He was a recipient of one of the awards last evening, and when asked about his Ranji stint briefly before coming in here, his response was rather brief and curt. There will be attention towards Shreyas Iyer, especially after he was told specifically to get some time under his belt in the Ranji tournament and after a horrid run that he had in South Africa. The pressure on the whole will be on the rather young Indian batting lineup, barring a Rohit Sharma, who's the most experienced there. KL Rahul will focus on just the batting. The coach Rahul Dravid has pretty much clarified he's not going to be keeping wickets in tests, leaving the door open to another good bat in KS Bharat, the department that looks like $1 million for India, and their biggest strength is the bowling. Jasprit Bumrah, R. Ashwin, Ravindra Jadeja, they'll lead the attack, and a lot rides on how they will dent the English confidence starting up. Let's look over to England now. Their biggest plus, let's start there. There are 2. First, a fit and raring to go captain Ben Stokes. From what McCullum indicated earlier, Stokes should take the field. He is an X-factor for any side, and here in these conditions more so. Second, of course, James Anderson. Though he is not playing the first test, he will have a bearing on the series and some impact on it once he gets in. He is the most successful bowler when it comes to tests between India and England, standing tall amongst a host of spinners from India who have dominated this contest. At 139 wickets, he's left veterans like Anil Kumble, Bishan Singh Bedi, Kapil Dev and Ashwin far behind. A lot depends on him. And in his absence in the first test, Mark Wood, who's ready to have a go, knows the pressure is always on when playing in India. That's what he said. The spinners England are relying on are rather inexperienced. The added frustration is Shoaib Bashir going back. After being stuck in UAE, Shoaib Bashir will be missing the first test owing to visa delays, and that's not sat down too well with the English side, particularly Ben Stokes. He said, and I quote, "We announced that squad in mid-December and now Bash finds himself without a visa to get here. I am more frustrated for him. I didn't want this type of situation to be his first experience of what it's like to be in the England test squad. I feel for him." So all eyes on possibly the other 2 spinners. First up, a young 19-year-old Rehan Ahmed. The leggy made an instant impact on his debut against Pakistan. But playing India is a monster challenge, something completely different. And then there is left-arm spinner Tom Hartley, a bowler in the Akshar Patel mold. He's also in the 11. And going by the destruction Akshar Patel caused the last time England toured, the visitors are definitely looking forward to Tom Hartley's display. The batting again is heavily reliant on few senior hands, particularly Joe Root. And rightfully so. He holds the second spot for most runs in India-England Test series, just behind Sachin Tendulkar, and looks all set to surpass him in this 5-match series. So this whole series is all nicely set up, and going by the one-sided affairs in Test cricket of late, all fans want is a good series that is evenly contested. And previewing this one for us is former Indian cricket team captain and coach Anil Kumble. Be sure to catch his thoughts on the 2 sides, his predictions, the interesting mouth-watering matchups. That's at 8 p.m. tonight. The sporting world has a host of those who toe the line, play by the rules, and then, of course, there are a few who love to play the problem child. Like Australian cricketer Glenn Maxwell, a dynamic and unpredictable character on the field, and as we are discovering over time, off the field as well. A terrific all-rounder on the field and also off it because of his idiosyncrasies. Probably that's why he's called a freak. It probably is his nature to take the attack to the opposition while on the field and then at the same time get on a self-destructive mode of it. Let's look at what happened a few days ago. He was in Adelaide in Australia at a concert where he got drunk. He fell unwell and was briefly hospitalized thereafter. What exactly happened is still not entirely clear, but it was not the kind of headlines he would have liked to wake up to. And now Cricket Australia is conducting an investigation into the incident and what Maxwell exactly did. There are a few things coming out via reports, though, post the mishap. It is being reported that Maxwell went to Adelaide for a celebrity golf event first. It was hot and humid and he was out all day, and after that went to a pub for some drinks, catching a concert. This was after his team was knocked out of the Big Bash League. Now, the Big Bash League is a T20 tournament in Australia, and Glenn Maxwell captains the Melbourne Stars. And his team did not quite have the season he would have hoped for. The captaincy at Melbourne Stars has been a mixed bag for Glenn Maxwell. It started off well from 2018 when he led them to a couple of finals in the first 2 seasons at the helm. The run of bad results thereafter pushed him to give up his captaincy right after this season concluded for the Melbourne Stars. Fans did not take too kindly to the decision. Captaincy aside, though, Maxwell has incredible numbers in the T20 format. He's considered one of the best T20 batters in the world with a strike rate of 153 plus. He clearly feels the club now needs someone new to helm affairs and be a leader, shoulder the responsibility of decision making and leading aside. Coming back to what happened at Adelaide, though, after the incident involving Maxwell, Cricket Australia on Monday said, and I quote, he will not feature in the ODI series against the West Indies that starts on the 2nd February. In fact, they said Cricket Australia is aware of an incident involving Glenn Maxwell in Adelaide at the weekend and is seeking further information. It is not related to him being replaced in the ODI squad, a decision that was made following the BBL and based on his individual management plan. Maxwell is expected to return for the T20 series. No further comment will be made at this time. It is, of course, Cricket Australia's way of damage control and also give Maxwell some time to get in line, ship up and get back to serious cricket business. This isn't the first time Maxwell has got on the wrong side of matters regarding his off-field activities. In 2022, he broke his leg at a birthday party. During the 2023 Cricket World Cup, he reportedly fell off a golf cart and missed a game. Australia went on to win the ODI World Cup thereafter, and that was probably the best carpet to roll over another of Maxwell's mishaps. While Glenn Maxwell's strength shines on the field, he's a match winner, an X-factor in Captain Pat Cummins' words. His nonchalant approach has left people wondering about his commitment to the sport and his team, something seniors in the cricket set up in Australia are beginning to voice themselves.
Maxwell needs to obviously have a look at what he's doing at his end, and is that the right thing to be doing at that time. Thankfully, there's no harm out of it. He is well now. He'll return to play in that West Indies series in those T20 games, which we are excited for.
Now, at one hand, we see the Mad Max rage who leaves everyone in awe. On one hand, there is his breathtaking shots, quick-fire batting or fielding, as well as guile with the ball. And the other hand, there's the bizarre incidents he keeps running himself into. We saw him wreaking havoc during the ODI World Cup against the Afghans with his double ton. Pat Cummins labelled that as the greatest ODI innings of all time. And it was in the same World Cup, like we mentioned earlier, that golf incident happened. He's a hero, but also not one who fits into the traditional hero mold. His perfect skills are balanced out with his imperfect choices. Additionally, he's passionate about golf and tennis. Even before he rose to international fame and debuted for Australia, he was picked up by the IPL franchise Delhi Daredevils, which is now Delhi Capitals. He's battled depression, come out of it. He's a father now. He enjoys the time away from cricket as well. So he's like the misfit that we need, but also someone who is proving to be a little too much to handle. How long will Australia continue to give a long rope to Maxwell? A talent alone and his talent alone good enough to surpass the troublesome behavior that comes with it. Imagine for weeks you have been meticulously planning your dream trip, planning every single detail, discussing with friends the places you'd explore. Everything seems all set, and in the blink of an eye, it gets cancelled due to some unforeseen circumstances. Well, that's how thousands of Cristiano Ronaldo fans are experiencing at the moment. That's what they feel. Cristiano Ronaldo broke a crushing news just yesterday. He won't be playing in China. Al Nassr cancelled the matches because he suffered an injury. He was supposed to play 2 friendlies there. Both matches will now be rescheduled, is what we're told. And fans are wondering, what about his high-octane face-off with Lionel Messi on February 1st, the one where Al Nassr takes on Inter Miami.
Ronaldo was set for an incredible mission to China. It was like a messiah who was to descend on a troubled land, waiting to make a grand entry. But the supposed heroic event was replaced by an unexpected development. Well, we think it's best to hear it from Ronaldo himself.
Well, guys, for me, today is a sad day because I want to say sorry to the Chinese fans, especially in Shenzhen, because, as you know, in football, some things you cannot control. So I'm really sad because, you know, Al Nassr and myself, we're coming here to China to enjoy the tour. I'm coming to China since 2003, 2004, so I feel home here. But we have to see this in a good way. When I say in a good way, I mean we're not cancelled the game. We're gonna postpone the game. We want to be back here to your country. We will be back.
Yesterday, Ronaldo's club Al Nassr played the villain. They were forced to cancel their China friendlies because their star player CR7 suffered an injury. He was the primary attraction of this tour, and without his presence, these matches seemed rather a mere formality. Let's face it, without CR7, there's no charm. Al Nassr was scheduled to play 2 matches in China, one against Shanghai Shenhua on the 24th of January and Zhejiang 4 days later on the 28th. They had announced these friendlies last year in December. The announcement alone created a frenzy amongst fans, who raced to snap up tickets in the hope of witnessing the legend in action. The rapid sellout of tickets showed just how eager fans were in China, and many more possibly flying in to catch the superstar magic live. Organizers of the China tour announced the heartbreaking news late evening yesterday. It came in less than 24 hours before the kickoff, which angered the fans even more.
Our time meant nothing. 5,000 kilometers. We came here for nothing. We came all the way from Kashgar, Xinjiang. The organizers must come down to see us. The organizers come down to see us.
Officials have promised a full refund of the match tickets, including flights and hotels, but didn't elaborate on the status of Ronaldo's injury. Ronaldo himself, though, has cited a fitness problem and also issued a public apology, saying it breaks his heart and he's most sad about this. But China will have to wait. Meanwhile, reports are rife with investigations on the status of CR7 and what he could be up to. He was missing from Al Nassr's training this week and was even spotted with a tape around his calf. But it's not just the China tour that has been a victim of this. The more important question is surrounding Al Nassr's fixture against Inter Miami, a match which was set to pit Ronaldo against Messi, the ultimate battle and face-off. There's no clear update on that, which is the good news, but it's leaving fans on the edge. Now, the match is scheduled on the 1st of February, but there are further reports that claim that Ronaldo could be absent or out of action for at least 3 weeks. Fans, though, have kept social media abuzz with their own theories. Some suggest he wants to avoid going against Messi. Some outright say he was scared, and this is an excuse. While it may take some time for the online banter to simmer, it feels like a perfectly crafted movie just got shelved even before premiering.
Now, when was the last time an Indian tennis player was ranked number 1 in the world? 2015, Sania Mirza became world number 1 in doubles ranking. The only Indian tennis players to be world number 1 prior to that were, of course, Leander Paes and Mahesh Bhupathi in 1999. And after close to 10 years now, India has its new world number 1 in tennis. And it's a 43-year-old. Rohan Bopanna, along with Matthew Ebden, has reached the semi-final of the Australian Open. With that, he is also the new world number 1 and the oldest world number 1. Rajiv Ram at 38 was the oldest world number 1 till Bopanna's feat earlier. For someone who has been in the shadows of India's tennis greats, Leander Paes, Mahesh Bhupathi and Sania Mirza, it's been a phenomenal rise to the top. He's revamped his training, he's focused on trying to recover better and being as fit as he can to prolong his career and continue playing at the top of his game. He in fact shared his thoughts with us right after that quarterfinal win earlier today against the 6-seeded opponents. Listen in.
Hey, first of all, thank you so much. Yeah, it's been incredible 20 years of being in this sport, playing this tournaments week in, week out, and today reaching the number 1 ranking, it's extremely amazing, proud feeling. It probably hasn't sunk in fully as yet, but still credit to the entire team, from especially the family, coach, physio, everyone behind the scenes who play such a huge, important role and always keeping me positive. And of course, my partner Matt Ebden. And these last 13 months have been an incredible, consistent kind of a year. And I'm proud to be where I am today at the ranking of number 1. So I think India needed this, Indian tennis needed this, and I'm really happy to be representing India across the world. And in this tennis journey, there's been so much of love and support from the entire country for 2 decades, and I'm really thankful for all the support. And I think this is from my side, giving back to everyone back in India. Thank you.
Yeah, the new updated rankings will come out next week, but Indian tennis needed this, he says. Bopanna, in fact, played his last Davis Cup tie late last year, saying he had given it his best and he has to focus on what can keep him going on the world stage. Get the younger lot to step up and take charge instead. This last 1 year, Bopanna and Ebden have forged a strong, unwavering partnership for months now. The first time they got together was in early 2023. And it's been a special year for them. They won an ATP Masters event last year, reached the US Open Grand Slam final, and made it to the season-ending doubles Masters event. And through all that, Bopanna got back into the top 10 in world rankings. It's a special bond that he shares with Ebden, which is translating to success on the court. The last time he enjoyed a great doubles run such as this was with Pakistan tennis player Ehsam Ul Qureshi. In fact, his debut in the top 10 back in 2011 happened courtesy his partnership with Qureshi. Bopanna at 43 is defying the rule book. He's challenging the norms and the younger brigade. He has shown that attaining success is a long journey and patience will eventually get you there. We've come to the end of the show. Time for last serve. The winter months are beginning to come to an end, but for some, this is probably the last stretch to experience the snow and turn it into a sporting arena, like these youngsters did in Kyrgyzstan. Those guys clearly showing it. All it takes to create and play sport is just the will. Everything else falls into place. But that does it here on First Sports today. I'll see you again tomorrow. But till then, do take care and keep watching First Sports.